Yo guys, what's going on? It's Aces here today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some very important items that you need to stock up on at the beginning of next wipe. Now, I do want to say this video will apply to pretty much all wipes in the future, assuming the core mechanics of the hideout stay the same, most of the crafts stay the same. Take everything with a grain of salt, do your homework, all that noise. Make sure everything's up to date if you're watching in the far future, but this is primarily aiming for 12.11 wipe, and if the game doesn't wipe in 12.11, obviously the next 12 dot wipe is when this will apply to. So there are some primary items on the left side of the screen that are very important, but I do want to give you guys a side tip very quickly. The ammo section. Buying high pen ammo at the beginning of a wipe is an incredibly smart investment because all it does is go up as people start getting those higher class armors. So at the beginning of the game, everybody's running P.A.C.A. That's armor class 2. At, 2 weeks in, there's a lot of people running Gazelles even, armor class 5. So M995 is going to skyrocket in the matter of 2 weeks. Therefore, in the first 2 weeks of the game, you can get M995 at, let's say, 1,000 a round rather than 2,000 a round, which it's selling at right now, maybe even 3,000 today. Let's give a check on it. Yeah, so 2,300 today. AP rounds will not be 3,000 rubles. They might be 1,000. So make sure you take advantage of that. Just a quick tip before we really hop into it. So we have some primary items on the left here we're going to talk about. But keep in mind that items that are required for other barters and such as the sick case where you need paracord and different kinds of tape, those items are extremely important too. And stocking up on paracord isn't a bad idea. But the list I chose here today was the ones that are going to make you the most profit or savings over the course of an entire wipe. So without further ado, let's hop into it. I'm going to explain each item. So the first one's going to be Folder with Intelligence. Now this wipe, I cannot remember the exact price I was buying these at the beginning of the wipe, but I know it's fairly cheap, and I want to say it was about 50k. Might have even been like 40, or might have been 60. I don't know, but I think it was around the 50k mark, and when I saw the prices on them, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I can use those for my scav case whenever I get that far, or I can use them to get the one upgrade. I think it's for Intel Center, you need some. And you also need a couple of these found in Raid, I think. I can't remember on that one, but I know you need them for some upgrades in the hideout, and then you can use an infinite amount of them in the future in your scav cases. So buying these at 50k is a great investment because they're worth 200k right now at this point in wipe. But honestly, this is more of a 300k value item. People are starting to get that pre-wipe scare, and a lot of people are selling everything. And with the Bitcoin going down, obviously the economy's been kind of tanking a little bit in Tarkov, but this is realistically a 300,000 ruble item, and a lot of people are going to need them. So stock up on Intel. It's going to be a great investment for you. The next one is going to be a secure flash drive. This is going to be used in cohesion with printer paper to make intelligence in your Intel Center. So stock it up on these. They're not going to be, well, they might be 40k at the beginning of wipe. You need them for some things, but there is a potential that these are very low in the flea market. I don't know how low they dropped. I would say maybe 20, 30k at the beginning of the first wipe when nobody really needed them. But this is an item you want to hang on to if you find in Raid. Don't sell in the flea market. If you find any super deals on the flea market at the beginning of next wipe, I would purchase them. But, only if you're finding them for like 20k. If you can find Intels for 50k on the flea market, you don't even have to worry about flash drives. Next one is going to be the chocolate bar. You need 2 of these to make 1 sugar in the nutrition unit. This one is huge. You will find these for 5 to 10k at the beginning of wipe. They are extremely cheap. I filled up an entire mini fridge and it did not last me long. I think it lasted me a week just making the sugar. So make sure you guys are stocking up big time on these ones. I'm going to go crazy this next wipe. Like this next wipe is going to be my best one for sure. I've just learned so much over the 1,300 hours I've played, and between stash management, tips and tricks, everything that I've learned and continue to learn, I just progress even more and more every single wipe. And this is one of those items where, you got to trust me when I say buying 200 of these is not a bad investment if you have a couple mini fridges you can afford to put them in. So keep that in mind. If you just want to skip to the next part, which is buying the sugar of this one, you can do that as well. It's what I did this wipe, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But the next one is bottle of whiskey and bottle of vodka. These are going to go hand in hand. The prices could be different. 10k for that. I'll take it. But these are going to go pretty much hand in hand. They're used for essentially the same thing. They're used for a thick case. So let me show you that barter very quickly. You're going to need 50 moonshine on top of it. So that's going to be probably your biggest, hardship when it comes to making those. But I would highly suggest considering making some and buying some. And I believe moonshine is also on our wish list, so we'll check it out. But You know, getting this trade is actually easier than you might think. If you put in a little effort to get those moonshines, you make them and you buy them at the same exact time, you can get yourself an extra thick case and not have to spend 17, 20, 25 million. They're going to go up quick at the beginning of wipes, so keep that in mind. The lowest you might see them is like 13 million, 12 million in the first week. But this is one that you really just got to stock up on as well. These thick cases will do you so much good later into wipe. Trust me, I have 7 of them. I can assure you that thick cases are the best item in the game. They really do unlock a lot of potential when it gives you an entire standard stash worth of space. So trust me on that. You want some thick cases, start saving up for this. Buy them at the cheap. Learn your spawns for some of those items as well. There's plenty of vodka spawns on the map, so you primarily want to be focusing on the whiskey. Next is going to be the blue fuel cans. Now, these are actually a little bit more important than the metal fuel tanks, in my personal opinion. Obviously, you're not going to have your solar power unlocked, so it's going to eat through this fuel pretty quick at the beginning of wipe, but you use these to create mag boxes in the lavatory, and then with 3 mag boxes, you can unlock another lucky scav junk box. So stocking up on these is extremely important. I would assume that BSG is going to fix the fuel spawn rates at the next wipe. They've nerfed them to make it a lot harder because of all the Bitcoin mining, but I'd assume we see these return to like the shelves in Ollie. We haven't seen that in a long time, and hopefully we see them back next wipe. If we do, then make sure you're picking those up and make sure you're buying them for cheap. If you can find these fuel cans for 40 or 50k, I would stock up big time. Start pumping out those mag cases and lucky scav junk boxes. Going to be worth a lot more earlier in wipe than later. So I would stock up. The next one is probably the most important one for leveling skills. Now, if you don't level skills, if you're not really interested, then don't worry about this one. But you see what they're worth now, 300k. What they were worth very recently was about 500k. Now, at the beginning of wipe, get ready for it. These are worth about 40,000 rubles. They're essentially worthless because nobody can use them. But me, in this wipe, I actually bought an entire lucky scav junk box full of them. I bought an entire case full, and I blew through them. I think they last like 23 hours. And I was just through them. I think you can fit like 16 or 24 or something like that in a lucky scav junk box. And I just absolutely annihilated and ate through them. So at 40k a piece, at the beginning of wipe, you want to buy all of them. You want to stock up big time. Because if you really want to level that strength skill up super quickly, this is the best way to do it. This gives you a 40% bonus, I think. 40, 50, 60% bonus. Getting that strength skill up that much quicker. I mean, you can really power level that. All you got to do, keep going factories. Just take in a shit ton of shotgun shells. As soon as you spawn up, just run. Just start running. Get in a corner somewhere. Just run. Wait for somebody to push you. Kill them. Just keep running. Get out of Ray with a factory key and reset. It is so easy to farm skills in this game if you know exactly how to do it. And this is like the key to that, man. This is a super important one. Maybe you want to farm endurance. Throw one of these on. Just go on a shoreline and just hold down the W key, man. It's literally that simple. These are 40k at the beginning of wipe. Stocking these up is going to be probably one of your best investments because skills, having the skill advantage over anybody in this game wins you gunfights. It gets you to loot faster. It's extremely important and not something to be taken lightly. The next one is the most important item that you can buy early wipe. This wipe, I think I bought about 18 to 20 of them. I think right now I have like 26 cards in my farm, and I don't have 50. I haven't had 50 all wipe. To be honest with you, there's not really a need for 50. Before they nerf the times anyway. If they keep the time nerf in the next one, I would probably say buy all 50 at the beginning of wipe. But it's an extremely big investment, and if you're not that good at the game, spending millions and millions and millions on graphics cards isn't really a financially smart decision. But now look at them. If you buy one, it's going to cost you $750,000. But for this price, you could buy almost 4 of them at the beginning of wipe. Graphics cards will sell for roughly 200,000 rubles at the beginning of wipe. Bitcoin farm is going to take you a week or 2 to even get to because of the forced times that are for the upgrading and the hideout. So the graphics cards will be worth about 200k. If you see them things at 200k at the beginning of wipe, like the first couple days for all those level 10s that get there super quick, they'll be around 120,000. I buy a shit ton of them. It is the first item I stock up on. I think in the first week I had 10 of them already, and because you can only fit 10 cards in your level 1 farm. That is why. But I would highly recommend you guys stock up all 50. Just grind it out. Whether you got to hatchet run some, that's actually a really good idea to be in a wipe as well. Just hatchet running cards and just getting some of those barter items. But graphics cards, about 200K is your normal price roughly at the beginning of wipe. Once you get about 2 weeks into wipe, you'll see them go to 250, 300. They'll go as high as they want. But you want at least 20 of these. Get at least 20 graphics cards in your stash before they go over 250,000. Trust me, grind it out, grind the game, and you'll thank yourself later. You will save a shit ton of rubles by doing this, and you will make a shit ton with those bitcoins. So thank me later, but stock up on cards. Next one's metal fuel tank. This one's totally optional. You can always buy these from Jaeger for 150K. That's a lot more worth it than paying the 230, 240 they want. I always buy them from Jaeger, and I'll buy one right now, actually. But this is a great deal from Jaeger. It's one, if you find in raid, keep it. If you find them for even less than 150K, honestly, it's still worth it. I think the metal fuel tanks really do a great job at keeping your generator up for long term, even overnight, getting those crafts done overnight and all that jazz. So, you know, this one's kind of optional, but it's one I'd still recommend you keep an eye on. If you find some good deals, take them. Next one, pack of sugar. This one I went a little crazy on this wipe. At the beginning of wipe anyway, I had about two fridges full of them. I called them horse cubes because horses like little sugar cubes. I think that's what my case name was, horse cubes. Had a whole entire case of them. Ran through them. For making moonshine, you use 2 sugar and you use 1 purified water. So obviously, with all the water filters you saved up, you're going to be using those, and you're going to be using these at the same time. You can get sugar for about 20K at the beginning of wipe, and that's very consistent pricing. 20 to 30K. I think I bought about 100 of them, about 150 of them. I know some of my subscribers on my old channel, and maybe a couple of them here with the new Tarkov content, also do this. You know, you stock up on sugar, and you just fill. You know, buying 200 of these is such a good investment because you're going to save 60K per sugar over the course of your wipe. And if you can get even more of those, it just depends on how much you're farming your marked room, how much you're really aiming to get those fridges as well. But, you know, saving 60K on 200 sugars is over 10 million in savings. It's right around 12 million rubles. So that is a shit ton of money to, you know, keep. I don't buy them. If I find them in raid, I find them in raid. But I have not made moonshine in weeks because I don't have any sugar left and I won't buy it. It's just not profitable to buy it. And I know wipe's coming, so it's kind of irrelevant. But stock up on sugar. It's probably one of the top 5 importance, you know, along with the graphics cards, the filter absorbers, and the regular filters, and the chocolate bars. You know, it's up there top 5. This is one you need to pick up. So, Aces. Let's talk Aces, man. These things are very volatile in the Tarkov market. Honestly, I don't know what these do at the beginning of wipe. You need them for a couple hideout upgrades, and that's going to be very important. So if you can find one of these things for like 100K, I'd probably pick it up. Considering that they're a 4 slot, you have to go in reserve to get them. Maybe you get the 1 spawn where you get the 2 aces at once. That would be amazing. But at the end of the day, it's kind of one of those items where, you know, it's better just to pick them up right away. If you missed my weapon case video, make sure you check that one out. You need an ASA for the weapons case trade. The sooner you can get those for that, the sooner the better. So, to be honest, I'd probably stock up about 10 aces just so you can get those weapon cases in the future. But, you know, motors and wires and broken LCDs are going to be crazy price. Probably 100K per motor. I don't even know if it'd be worth it. So, do this one at your own risk. You know, just consider yourself warned. But this is definitely one you want to pick up 1 or 2 of them if you can find them really, really cheap. Next one's printer paper. Goes hand in hand with the secure flash drive. It's going to be super cheap at the beginning of wipe. Maybe like 7,000 rubles. Maybe even cheaper. Maybe 5K. Maybe 10K. I don't know. But if you want to pick up a couple of these, obviously see if they're worth later in wipe. I would do this. You know, you make them for, you can use them to make water filters as well. But the Intel, in my opinion, you know, there's more of a gamble there with the scav case, but I'd rather do that. But there's still a lot of use for them. Pick them up when you see them, buy them when they're cheap. Pretty much it. The Ratchet Wrench. A lot of players aren't going to know this is going to skyrocket in the next wipe. The reason for it is at the beginning of wipe, there's going to be a lot of players who don't get to, I think it's Water Collector 3. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, or if it's the Moonshine thing, the boost generator, but you need one of these, and they're actually almost impossible to find. I have not found one yet this wipe at all. I just haven't found one, and I've been playing pretty much constantly. So the Ratchet Wrench is probably going to be a 500K item at the beginning of wipe once some people start unlocking it for the craft. But in the first week, I would say they're probably going to be 50 to 100K, what they're at right now. Nobody's going to be able to craft GPUs yet. Nobody's going to be able to get to that upgrade. So buy one of these as soon as possible. If you're on a standard account, guys, do me a huge favor. Buy 3 of these. You need 2 of them for Stash 4 upgrade. Trust me, you're going to need it. So this one is pretty important to buy at least one of. This is one. It's just a 2 slot. You throw it in your junk box. Forget about it. Use it when you need it. Fry croutons. This one is kind of task oriented. Now, at the beginning of Wipe, you're not going to see these on the flea market. They're going to be selling out constantly. The max price you could really list these at, because you're not going to have that Intel Center maxed out and get that discount on your fee. You're going to be seeing these about 20 to 30K when they appear. Add it to your wish list. Buy every single one of them. You need them to craft the can of meat, which you need to give to therapist. You need to give her 15. And it is pretty damn hard to find all 15 of them. But when you have croutons stocked up, you can actually craft them pretty damn quickly. And this is just a super important one. It's going to be sold out for the majority that you look for it. But occasionally you will find them. And you can also check for barters, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just wait for somebody to list it. The fee is too big to go anything over 30,000. That's the max you'll pay for it. So keep on the lookout for it. Find some, buy them, stock them up. Good to go. We're going to save the Ultra Storage Key for last. Water filters. It's just so important you buy these. You can find them for 40, 50K at the beginning of Wipe. It is just such a good deal. If you get that water purifier up and you get Water Collector 3 anyway, and you can start getting purified water out for people to buy, you're going to have that out there so much quicker than anybody else. And then if you want to go ahead and make some moonshine with that, if you're even that far, that early on, the moonshine is worth an absolute shit ton as well at the beginning. I would probably save them up, but water filters did the same exact thing. Filled an entire scav junk box with them at the beginning of Wipe. Blew through them. I mean, they didn't last long at all. So make sure you guys are buying these, man. It's just, I know it's a lot of rubles, but it's so worth it. It's honestly, you know, it's a hard trade-off because you really want those thick cases. You really need all those rubles to buy other upgrades, but depending on how much you play, if you're a full-timer like myself, at least I'm trying to go full-time with this Tarkov channel, this is one that you really just gotta grind it out. So, the grand finale, the Ultra Medical Storage Key. I want to tell you guys, at the beginning of Wipe, a lot of people know about this key. But at the beginning of Wipe, this key is something sacred. You can get those LEDXs and those defibs and those meds before anybody else with this key. And just know, interchange the first week is a lot easier than you might think. And running right up to farm a GPU and then hit this storage closet and get a PMC kill all in the same raid is going to be one of your best decisions of your life. The Ultra Medical Storage Key, roughly, at the beginning of Wipe, will sell for 1 million rubles. This is one you need to pick up as soon as possible and maybe even before you buy anything else. Get to level 10. Find somebody else who's level 10. They're going to list this for 1 or 2 million. Buy it. It's going to be worth it. Getting those LEDXs early, getting those defibs early, all that stuff, they're going to skyrocket. The LEDXs, you know, at the beginning of Wipe might be worth 700K. Hold on to them, you know, use them, whatever you need to do. But they're going to be worth a lot. You need to get this key. You know, any other key in the game can wait. This key you need. This one's way more important than Kiba. This one's way more important than, in my opinion, it's way better than a red key card. It's way better than any of those, you know, super high valuable keys. I'd say it's the best key in the game, really, Wipe. And, you know, having the access to stims and grizzlies and golden stars, Vaselines, any of that, you know, early Wipe, game changing. It gives you that advantage over pretty much any player. Pick this one up for 1 or 2 million. Spend it. Worth it. I promise you. Be a rat most of the Wipe. Save up money. Use your scav runs. Pretty much it. Very long video. A lot of information. If you guys enjoyed it, do me a huge favor. Smack that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Sponsors in the equipment description below. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out.